Getting into the bans now, we've got Bristleback being taken out first here by Benjaz, captaining up here for Union Gaming. Top 5, about to start banning out some heroes here.
And yeah, just getting rid of the bristleback. It looks like on Union Gaming. Top 5 gonna take out the Timber Saw. So some pretty standard first bans coming out as we see here. Bristleback. I haven't seen him first ban in quite a long time, but that could just be Union Gaming style. He is a strong hero, very hard to take down, and well, this is one of the first games that I'm casting in the new meta as well. So there might be some new stuff that these teams see that we don't exactly see just yet. We're just going to have to wait and see how this game works out.
Yeah, I've run through 6.8 briefly. I've been pretty busy, haven't had a huge amount of time, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the meta-shifting patch that 6.79 was. Well, maybe some slight changes, might see some heroes creep in that we wouldn't normally. Maybe Earthshaker, a bit of a resurgence or something along those lines. I think the biggest change, honestly, was being able to share the wards with other supports. That was pretty nice. Or the offlaner.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one of those support changes that are kind of big. Ever since they changed the sharing of consumables, I figured that was going to be coming up pretty soon because there has to be an easier way to do that, and except for putting it on the ground and having both wards go to one direction. So we've got actually a good advancement in the draft so far. So Visage picked up first by Union Gaming. He saw a little bit of a change in 6.8. And, well, still believe he's first pick material. And you remember what they changed? I believe it was move speed.
No, well, yeah, I think they took his move speed down by 5, but they also made, so currently Grave Chill has a scaling mana cost. It starts, oh, damn it, I can't look at the tooltip to see what it was. Now it's 100, but it used to scale from 70, 80, 90, and then to 100 at rank 4. So it was really, really cheap and still a really good spell. So it's not a huge nerf, but it's maybe you're going to be a little bit more conscious about casting Grave Chill in the lane, because you're going to need to save up your mana for that Soul Assumption.
Yeah, and the Soul Assumption, one of those things that makes Visage really creep up on you in lane, because it's just a lot of damage burst, and you don't expect it.
10 seconds remaining.
So yeah, the Grave Chill helping out a little bit against the Visage, makes him more mana dependent. And that -5 move speed, it may not seem like a lot, but that means that he needs to be a little bit more conscious about his positioning because he's going to be tiny bit slower in the lane. So going to have to look out for that. Enchantress picked up first as well as the Nyx Assassin on the side of the top 5. And looking at the draft, Enchantress, did they change anything about that?
I don't believe so. Sorry, I was messing with your mic volume.
Oh, sorry about that, if I'm too loud.
No, it's my fault. I changed my mic settings up a little bit.
So Enchantress's base armor was actually reduced by 1. So she might be taking a little bit more damage.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep. Literally taking all the damage.
5 seconds remaining.
And Nyx Assassin, I'm not seeing... Nyx Assassin, his Impale goes slightly shorter now because it follows the cast range.
Yeah, there were definitely some times when Impale goes a little bit further than it should. So I think that was a pretty good fix. Nyx Assassin will still be an incredibly strong hero. As we see top 5, well, they pick him up second. Back over to Union Gaming now. They've already got the Visage, and they're going to go straight with the Dragonite. So it's pretty obvious that's going to be their mid. Well, it should be their mid. You can run Dragonite in the safe lane, but I think it just functions well in the mid lane. He's just doesn't need a little bit of farm in those quick levels to get the Dragon form up.
Yeah, and one of the skills that doesn't really show itself in the mid lane is the Dragon Tail. You only see it used about once, and that got a slight nerf where they increased the cooldown to scale downwards instead of starting at 9 seconds. It's 12, 11, 10, 9. But yeah, no, it's not one of those skills that he needs to use once, so it's not going to really affect him in this mid lane. But it might start to become apparent later on in the game, as stuns start to become more and more precious. But it's going to be a ban out of the Storm Spirit by Union Gaming, and Elder Titan going to be taken out by top 5. Lone Druid is actually seeing a little bit of hate on Union Gaming now. So they're thinking there's going to be a Zookeeper build on the side of top 5, so they're getting rid of the bear.
Yeah, maybe. It could also be Union Gaming wanting to pick up an OD
10 seconds
perhaps,
remaining.
To run in the mid lane, and then maybe actually put the Dragonite
5 seconds
safe.
remaining.
Lone Druid is one hero that, when played by a competent lone druid player, which of course top 5 has. It can get a little dangerous. I mean, of course you can still pick up the Razor or the Viper versus OD, but I think if you're a solid lone druid player, that matchup is actually the best. So, you know, maybe some Outworld Devourer gets picked up tonight. And I like the Elder Titan ban. We don't see that a lot anymore because everyone's, okay, there's an OD. Kind of backfired if that was Union Gaming's strategy.
Well, I think Union Gaming, Lone Druid actually doesn't do too bad against the Dragon Knight either. So,
yeah, that's
I mean, they might just be getting rid of him because they don't want the chance for that melee range Dragon Knight to get hit up by the Entangle and fall down. I mean, didn't they change the Entangle to no longer be an orb effect so you can stack other stuff up with it?
Yeah, that is true. You could,
I mean, I don't see how that really makes a
10 seconds
difference.
remaining.
Either way.
You could get a Mjolnir proc as well as
5
a
seconds
on the
remaining.
same attack now, so...
Yeah, that could be a little annoying, but either way, with the
Reserve
Outworld
time.
Devourer picked up, we have a probable mid. Like, he's a pretty good candidate to think that he's going to be run mid in this scenario, and he's a strong mid, does fairly well versus the Dragon Knight. Even though he doesn't reduce Dragon Knight's damage, he can increase his own, as well as disrupt to keep Dragon Knight from getting those last hits. I don't know if it disrupts gets removes your chance to get XP. I don't think it does, but...
Wait, from what?
I could be
Outworld
wrong.
Devourer?
Yeah, the Astral Imprisonment.
The Astral Imprisonment, if you get denied or a creep dies, you don't get the XP for it. That's why OD can really snowball out of control.
Right. So...
And levels.
Yeah, levels are incredibly important to Dragon Knight. If he can't get his levels up fast and efficiently, then that's where Dragon Knight starts to have a problem. So Outworld Devourer probably going to try to keep on top of that. If we see him do anything in this game, it's I don't think we noted, but the Pug Knight gets banned out. That probably would have been the definite Outworld Devourer guest pickup, even that or Skywrath Mage. But we don't typically see Skywrath, so
yeah,
it's going to be
we
Clockwork.
don't. He's a pretty good hero, but he's really easily ganked, and as soon as the other team gets BKBs, he's basically useless. I'd like to see
Sounds like
a
OD.
Venomancer. Nah, not quite. I mean,
Well, the
still
BKB
right-clicks
part.
pretty hard. Even without the orb, you know, big items in the late game, OD can click pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised
bad,
we don't see a Venomancer either
Radiant
picked or
team,
banned. I
pick.
mean, that Venomancer Dragon Knight combo is pretty strong for taking down towers, and it's pretty hard to shut down in the team fight as well. Poison Nova gets off, or a good Gale and Dragon Knight just chasing people down with Cleave.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any reasoning for not picking up Venomancer. I mean, base damage reduced by 5. Oh, that's right. His HP regen got broken down
that is
hard.
I don't know. I feel like his wards are still extremely good. The HP regen
10 seconds remaining.
that's like a pretty big hit, but I think he'll be okay if people want to play him
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe. Well, Clockwork getting picked up by Union Gaming. A little bit of catcher of the out-of-position heroes. There's going to be a Lifestealer to go up with that.
Ban.
So some definite combos being built up in this position. Rubik, though, going to get picked up on the other side. They got the hook to steal. They got a ton of nukage from the Dragon Knight to steal. So not too bad from the Rubik. He's got a solid disruption. It's going to make the Nyx Rubik roaming gank quite viable. And with the Crystal Maiden banned out, we see a pretty red team coming out
10
from Union
seconds
Gaming. What do you think they're going to be going for as their final 5th pickup?
Well, I already
5
suggested the
seconds
Venomancer,
remaining.
but I don't know. The nerfs, maybe they're not going to opt to pick it. It still seems very good in conjunction with the Dragon Knight, as we see
team
Union Gaming. They
pick.
ban out the Luna as their 5th ban. And yeah, top 5, strong supports. They go with the Viper, so there's, you know, the other green
Radiant
guy with the
team
poisons
pick.
that's slow and can be very annoying. And I guess sort of more of a semi-carry along the lines with OD also being a bit of a semi-carry. Not the traditional carry role, but, you know, top 5, they've got the ability to snowball out of control here with big level 6s on every single hero. Every ultimate online could be a time for top 5 to group and maybe try to win some fights, push some towers.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep, and they got some pretty decent counter to
5
most of
seconds
what
remaining.
Union Gaming has. I mean, the Viper does fairly well versus the Lifestealer, can really stack up the
Reserve
damage on the
time.
Dragon Knight over time. Neither Viper nor Outworld Devourer, though, are typically used as hard carries. So with Sanke getting picked up to round out the draft on Union Gaming, a pick which I halfway like, halfway don't. And I can go over that later. This is going to be the full 5v5, and players are going to start to fill into their heroes. So anything left to say about this draft on your part?
Did Sand King got buffed, right? His Sandstorm got changed around a little bit?
Sandstorm, 525 radius at the... Wait, no, not 525.
I mean, we can just highlight it here.
Yeah, no, 525 radius. From the start now. It no longer scales upwards. And level 4 was 525 last, so that's going to be a nice little change for him, as well as a Blink Dagger, having the 75 mana usage removed.
Yeah, that's really big for heroes like Tidehunter, like Skeleton King, not quite Skeleton King, like Sand King, the other
Maybe a
SK.
ball in Skeleton King.
Skeleton King's not even SK anymore. I don't know what I'm thinking. I guess I'm just in mourning. But yeah, those big ultimate heroes with not great mana pools that need to blink in and then use abilities, it really, really helps them. I think it's a slight buff to base defense, which was definitely needed because pushing is so in, or was so in 6.79C. We'll see if it stays around. Probably will stay around for 6.880. I feel like you need to have two numbers.
So, well, I talked about how I halfway liked, halfway disliked Sand King. I guess now during the pause is a decent time to talk about it. I don't see a good amount of range on Union Gaming, and this could be intentional, this could be not intentional. They do have anti-kite abilities, but it's going to be up to top 5 to really figure out how to deal with it, because with all melee, I mean, you've got stuff like Corrosive Skin, you've got Untouchable, you've got plenty of stuns and disruptions that could be happening. Do you think Union Gaming are going to get kited out easily in this game?
Yeah, I think they're going to have a pretty big problem. Benjaz is not going to have a fun time unless, top 5 is making mistakes or having some missteps, but he's going to be kited around easily because, of course, the slows from Viper go through Rage. Citadel as well could have some trouble, but, he does have a range form, so he's just going to try to not fight unless he has Elder Dragon form online. Visage, until BKBs come out, Visage is always good. Union Gaming is just going to have to be their normal aggressive selves, I think.
Definitely, and when you go incredibly aggressive against a hero like an Outer World Devourer and he can't find the farm in the early game, and the Enchantress even as well, things might start to go downhill for top 5. But as we saw in the game that top 5 played versus Avanti's Angles, they are ready to get really aggressive and make sure that the other team can't come online.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't actually get a chance to check those out, but I heard from Shredder.
It was short.
It was pretty much domination from top 5.
Top 5 made sure that Avanti's Angles knew who their names were. It was incredible. The amount of execution and precision that top 5 had during that series was amazing. They knew what they needed to do. They knew how they needed to do it, and they executed perfectly. So couldn't have seen a better game from them, and they're really hoping to repeat that success in this game. But Union Gaming has already knocked them out of the tournament once in this in Season 3. So it's up to top 5 to get their revenge, to continue their lead, so to speak, or their momentum, rather, and take this game.
Yeah, that game I actually remember. Okay, apparently someone has decided to have construction time in the apartment above mine. I remember that game. I was really surprised that Union Gaming took out top 5 so easily and dropped them into the lower bracket. Since then, though, top 5 has definitely been in top form, and they've moved through pretty easily. I did have the chance to cast them. I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier over on the Join Dota community stream for the JDL Americas Season 1, where top 5 went up against eHug. In top 5, they played a very nice early game. They played a pretty good mid game, but against a team like eHug, you could see that top 5's sort of mid game and late game decision making wasn't quite as strong. So Union Gaming, they might be able to capitalize on that because they always seem to be full throttle aggression and on the same page as a team.
Right, so I just want to remind everyone out there in the stream, out there potentially dropping by, this is a grand final, sort of a double best of 3 if you'd like to call it. We switched to
best of 5.
Oh, we did? All right, well then it's going to be a best of 5 with a 1-game advantage going to Union Gaming. So yeah, this is the grand final. Hype it up. Get the word out there. This is the last game or the last series of Season 3 before we go into Season 4, and that deserves its own hype and its own respect. We're still paused, but it looks like we're going to be coming back into this game rather shortly as Visage has reconnected.
Well, it's not Peruvian Dota without a pause, and it's not professional Dota without a pause. And if Union Gaming isn't either of those two words, then I don't know what Union Gaming actually is. But I'm pretty sure it's professional Peruvians.
It's a great literism, too. I love it. Have to remind my viewers that every single time I cast these guys or talk about them, the professional Peruvians.
Yeah, although there's, speaking of Season 4... Union Gaming going to be given a run for their money by For Sweet Revenge, also another Peruvian team. Should be pretty fun to watch. As now Top 5 is going to need a bit of a pause, so at least we got to see some of the spring celebration fireworks get shot off here.
Oh, I love that.
They're kind of
terrifying. This new map is amazing. I'm not going to lie, I really like the new map, and I usually play with my headset, so I don't really get fazed by the fireworks too much. I can understand where people are complaining about the speakers, especially when you walk by some of these gates that shoot the sparks
Yeah, and they just
out.
randomly go off. Even on headphones, it's like, kind of scary. Or when they go off, they shouldn't go off if there's a team fight around, because it's kind of distracting. Sound is really important in Dota, actually. Or at least I find it to be.
All right, it looks like we're coming back into this game, so pick a team, let it rip.
Yeah, we'll go with Top 5 here. They are playing on the Dire, one game behind as we start off this best of 5. We've got Shanks, the captain here, on the Enchantress, and looks like they will do some lane scouting as they're all heading down into the Radiant Jungle. Teacher D on the Rubik. We've got Wrong on the Nyx Assassin. Looks like he will be in the off lane. They're probably going to leave him here. 1, 2, 3. That should be War, Fight, playing on the Viper. And over leading the charge, but likely to be in the mid lane, it's going to be Fly playing the OD.
Well, for Union Gaming, and who might be seeing a little bit of trouble in the near future, Benjes will be playing the Lifestealer, actually breathing a sigh of relief as Top 5 starts to back off. In the mid lane, we have, is that Citadel?
Yes.
Yeah, playing the Dragon Knight. We got Angel. On the Clockwork, it's going to be Gosu Ray on the Sand King. And, oh my, what is that, Xanderlez?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Xanderlez is going to be playing the Visage. So, nice lineup on both these teams. The Horns are going to let her rip. The fireworks to fly. And the game to begin.
the fireworks. I feel like they were put in just for this final. Makes it so exciting.
We can only hope. So right now, some pretty good ward vision coming out from Union Gaming. They know exactly what Shanks and Teacher D were doing at that exact moment. Stayed back so as their smoke not to get dispelled, and now they might be making a go on Fly in the mid lane rather soon.
Yeah, he does have Astral, but he just used it right there. So the stun from Citadel to go out, and now the stun from the Sand King onto Fly. This could be the first blood. It will be the first blood because, of course, Soul Assumption's skilled up, and, well, the items are handed out there.
So let's take a moment to appreciate that the two best stuns at level 1 in the game are both on Union Gaming side.
Yeah, and they were both used to chain stun the OD. He pretty much had no chance, and even if he had the Astral available to him, I don't know if any supports right now are ready with the TP to actually come to his aid, as you don't normally have one at 1 minute. As, well, the bot lane, Nyx Assassin's even getting a lot going against Benjaz because of that rotation. So Nyx Assassin getting, some decent XP as a result of that level 1 gank mid.
Angel is going to be taking some XP meanwhile from Teacher D in the top lane. He's just going ahead and using that XP share in the jungle to his advantage. He's got it. He's going against a tri-lane or a pseudo tri-lane as Shanks is in the jungle, but he's actually doing very well versus 1-2-3. We see 1-2-3 is at 250 health, climbing because of that tango he just used up. But Angel keeping 1-2-3, using that regen, and the bottom lane 3-2-1 is man fighting up on Benjes. Nothing too much erupting from that. Oh wait, back to the top lane. Home 1-2-3 might take a fall here. It's going to be the battery assault and the flare to Fly. Angel will clean that one up.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Shanks and Teacher D are ready for this, and they could get a return kill.
Yeah, it looks like they've got the damage. He eats the tangos, but he's still going to drop. It's completely worth it. I'm really, really shocked he was able to dive behind that tower. Not scared of this Rubik or Enchantress at all. I mean, they did put down this ward that we can see here, which gives a bit of vision of where the supports might be. So really, I guess, capitalizing on the fact that Rubik was missing from the lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of courage coming out from his part, but at the same time, it seemed like a pretty lackluster reaction coming out from top 5. I mean, he was way past that tier 1 tower, and by way past, I mean a little bit past that tier 1 tower for a good amount of time.
I mean, and for 2 minutes into the game, that's way past the tier 1 tower,
yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, that's... I didn't want to sound like I'm exaggerating here, but yeah, no, that's exactly what I think. But you mentioned how Angel wasn't scared of Teacher D or Shanks. Well, now I think he's going to think a little bit twice about it, as they might be a little more prepared for those ganks in the future. But at the moment, he did get a solo kill off on 1-2-3. Is that War?
I believe so.
Which one's which.
We'll go with that. I know that Wrong is on the Nyx Assassin right now.
Yeah, but he got 1v1 solo experience. Meanwhile, Shanks and Teacher D split that one up, and 1-2-3 War got no part of it. So, yeah, some pretty good trades coming out so far from Union Gaming. It is 2-1 at 3.5 minutes. A rotation coming in from Shanks, though. Looks like he's making his way towards the mid lane. I don't think he has much of an ability up. He's going to go ahead and D-ward.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the creep, but what are you going to do? The Centaur, I guess, the Thunderclap's pretty nice. The Satyr Blast is good damage, but not a lot to hold him there. But in the jungle, actually, Wrong being pretty aggressive. Here comes DK with that Invisor, and he just bottled up. 3-2-1. Wrong stunned up on the Nyx Assassin. There's that other good level 1 stun of the game, like you pointed out earlier. Gosu Ray King with the stun. Going to allow Citadel to pick it up there on the Dragon Knight.
Heard of me?
So I'm just going to go out and say that this ward right now is amazing. They have tabs on Shanks at almost every point in this game. Whenever he starts to make way towards the mid lane, they know about it. So not only did it make the level 1 gank on the Owl Devourer possible, but it's also kept Citadel pretty much alive in this mid lane, made sure that there's nothing that can go on to stop him.
Yeah, just still going to be a pretty hard matchup. I mean, looking at the CS, it's 19 last hits and actually 20 denies. So OD Fly has 1 more deny than last hit, and looking at the last hits of Citadel, 8 and 6. So you can see how hard the matchup is. So it is very, very good that Citadel has found himself with 1 kill as well as 1 assist. It looks like Shanks is rotating over with a bunch of illusions with the Satyr, but Visage is there to deter her.
Yeah, and for the longest time, it looks like Citadel was an entire level behind Fly, but as levels start requiring more and more XP, that deficit's going to look less, but still, nearly an entire level of XP has been denied from Citadel in this mid lane. So we talked about in the draft, that's exactly what Fly wants to be doing in this mid lane, and I think he's accomplishing that rather well despite giving away First Blood.
Indeed, indeed. All right, checking out the CS up top. Unless you just did that, I won't lie. I was maintaining the Twitch chat.
No, I haven't been looking at the CS, but I can. It looks like Viper is maintaining a pretty good pace, but being outdone by the Lifestealer in the bottom lane, only by a little bit. Meanwhile, the next 3, though, the 3 of the top 4 last hitters on the board right now are all from top 5. You can account for one of them being a jungler, but still, the fact still stands that they are doing very well. And Citadel might catch himself in a bad position. That ward's great, but doesn't catch from that angle. And now, if they have an enchant anything, no, enchant was on cooldown. So some tough luck for Shanks, but Citadel is able to get away.
Yeah, top 5 is really struggling on any rotations. Shanks is not trying to be a greedy Enchantress by any means, just jungling up. But he's been slow to rotate, but we do find Angel, and Angel has actually found the Rubik, who is going to kill up here, along with the help of the Visage. Shanks along on the backside, looks like he gets chased off by Benjaz. Elderform Dragon popped up by the DK. There's the hook in, first hook of the game by Angel onto Shanks, popping up the heal, but it's not going to be enough. Will go down, Visage gets that kill as well. Gosu Ray with the stun onto the Viper. Viper into the cogs from Angel, nicely done. But OD comes in to put him under, saving him a bit of time, but I think Benjaz and crew should be able to get him, and they will battery assault. No, not going to do it. DK gets it with the ranged attack, but Wrong with the double damage that just spawned bottom. Going to come up here, trying to get Angel. Can they get anybody? DK goes down to a mana burn. Angel will turn around to just, I guess, suicide and buy some time for his teammates to run away. But it's still a good trade for Union Gaming, and as you would expect, the aggressive Peruvians out 6 kills to 3.
This is a game of entirely aggression. I mean, we know both these teams can be aggressive, but that was an all-in team fight. At 7.5 minutes, all 5 from both teams were taking part in that one. So some really committed fights going on this early in the game. First one to go back to his lane and farm, though, is going to be Fly, and that might make itself apparent as we start to exit later into the game. I don't think he used Sandy's Eclipse at all during that. He might have... No, he definitely had it before that, so...
Yeah, he did not use it, though.
That might have been able to net 1 or 2 more kills, maybe, maybe not. We will never know, but still, Union Gaming were able to, as you said, come out a little bit on top, but that doesn't help the fact that Top 5 are still nipping at their heels, and we know now that Top 5 are not afraid to take big fights. They're not afraid to react to big fights. And the only reason that Union Gaming may actually had to trade that was because Top 5 took the reaction to that fight. So still some decent play coming out from both teams. And I don't have a clear winner depicted right yet, as actually it looks like Top 5 took the head end of that trade, looking at the golden XP graphs.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe getting some more solo XP on the kills. I think only one hero was maybe alive when Top 5 was getting some kills because other people started TPing in, which turned it a little bit more, maybe. Let's see, what was the score going into that beforehand? I'm not sure, as we've got plenty of time to remember because it looks like we're paused.
I thought it was
again.
2-1.
Actually, the graph will show it. We can just... Oh, no, the graph hasn't caught up since we've paused.
Oh, yeah, then I actually probably will go upwards. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like
we'll just have to wait and see, but I thought it was 2-1, but I could be mistaken, as I didn't really think Union Gaming got 4 kills in that engagement. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. Well, they started off with someone might have died twice because Clockwork killed Rubik in the jungle with the Visage, and I think Rubik TP'd back top and possibly died again.
No, Rubik only has 1 death.
Only has 1 death? All right, well then that settles that. We can look at the levels, though. We see that Lifestealer did okay there. He didn't die. He's got 2 assists. He's up at level 7. Fly, pretty much the same. His only death was, of course, giving up the first blood. So he goes up top, gets himself an assist, some more XP. DK is at 6. He went down. I believe it's the Nyx Assassin who killed him with the mana burn. And then we saw Angel die. So that's 2 deaths there for Union Gaming. Yeah, those were the only deaths. We see that Visage as well as the Sand King are very, very low. So I think it was... either 2 for 3 or 2 for 4. Sometimes the graphs just don't make sense.
Viper may have died twice. No, Viper died in the earlier part of the game. So
0
Viper
and 2.
definitely died. They picked up... Oh, wait, no. They picked up Nyx, they picked up Rubik, and they picked up Enchantress. So those were the 4 deaths. Viper, Nyx, Rubik, Enchantress.
Yeah.
I
think the graph will maybe kick in with that fight in a little bit. Sometimes it takes a while. But some things to point out. Item choices that I think are going to really benefit Top 5 and definitely going to be a good pickup versus the style of lineup that UG or Union Gaming is running. Of course, Viper is going straight for the mechanism here, as well as OD in the mid lane. He's going for a 4-staff. He's got the Staff of Wizardry on the Courier already, so he's only about 350 gold away from, or about 900 gold away from the 4-staff. So that's going to be making him a little bit harder to kill. He's already got the Astral Imprisonment, add on the 4-staff, and, you know, OD, hard to bring down.
Right, and Sand King's already picked himself up in Urna Shadows. Hasn't really gotten himself any... Well, actually, no, he's got no charges on it, so he might have just picked that up. But Benjez is going to be sitting on Phase as well as Orb of Venom, so he's doing fairly well in this lane. And the Orb of Venom is going to help him with the kiting issue just a little bit, but it's only a small movement, though, at the moment.
Yeah, I would like to see the Lifestealer here go for the Phase into the drums, and then S and Y I think is the best thing that you can do versus a Viper or a Venomancer, just to counteract that slow and run as fast as you would if you didn't have an S and Y, which is a lot better than just being kited around. Something you can try to do, as it looks like Lifestealer, Dragonite, as well as Ghost Ray, Sand King are starting to push the bottom tier 1 tower.
And looks like Citadel not quite understanding the tower mechanics. He ends up backing up and still getting hit by the tower, but now he's good in a decent position. But yeah, as you were mentioning, Sanjin Yasha, a possible pickup on the side of the Lifestealer. And Sanjin Yasha actually did get a little bit of a change in the recent patch, where it turned into a complete 16 item. And now there's a full rotation, so I'm going to stop talking here and let you take over.
All right, Citadel in Dragon form, still with that movement speed buff, a little bit trying to catch up, gets the Dragon Tail off. There's the Infest out, the open wounds, but a bit of body blocking going on. Doesn't matter, Gosu Ray is going to help out. Hook to miss from Angel, but it wasn't really needed, but it wasn't used. Maybe they could have got a couple more. Angel, meanwhile, still going to chase off Shanks. See if they can't get him. Soul Assumption going out. Shanks very, very low. Didn't even bother to use his heal for some reason, as the first vendetta of the game comes from wrong. Let's see if he can do anything. He wisely decides to back off, as I note he has that Dagon item that I have, and no, walks back into a Sentry, actually. Gosu Ray quick to stun him up. He's now officially out of mana on the Sand King, but there's the cogs to hold in 3-2-1. He will go down, but a big Sanity's Eclipse. So Sand King is on the ground, as well as Angel falling. Visage going to pick up another, but Benjaz now being kited here. Viper Strike has already been let loose on Benjaz. He will go down, and it's a 3-for-3 trade there in the top lane. Once again, starts off really nicely for Union Gaming, but they stick around a little too long.
Yep, and as the 3-for-3 start to happen, we're going to see the kill deficit and respect to one another start to get a little bit smaller, even though it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And top 5 actually looked like they came out really strong in that fight. It was definitely on the backs of a couple of well-placed ults on their part, as well as a couple of missed ults on Union Gaming's part. But a little bit of an unsung hero there was the Fade Bolt that came out from the Rubik. They would have been able to kill off the Nyx Assassin so much faster in that if that Fade Bolt hadn't flown. So some pretty good plays coming out from the Rubik, as well as top 5 as a whole. And now Union Gaming need to take a step back and rethink a little bit about how they're playing, how they engage in those team fights. As we see, Gosu Ray King has picked up his epicenter in a pretty timely fashion.
Nice. Yeah, and I think really one of the biggest factors of why Union Gaming ended up going down at the end of that fight is the cogs there were used to basically just capture the Nyx Assassin, and it got some allies in it as well, and then it just set up the Sanity's Eclipse. Not that it's hard to land, but everyone was kind of standing out. The cogs were trying to run around them and walk straight into OD, dropping the hammer. So maybe he had to use those cogs to push Nyx Assassin back towards Union Gaming, thus, you know, kind of segregating the rest of top 5 away. That could have ended better, but it looks like in the mid lane, Fly in a bit of trouble, backs off in time, but the push is inevitably coming to this mid.
Yeah, we know if we know top 5, they are going to find some way to get aggressive, and it might be the top lane that they end up going for. There's a haste as well as an invis rune on the Dragon Knight. He's making his way top.
Yeah, and top is where we see Angel hooking into Shanks. Shanks, though, gets off the heal. They haven't been able to bring him down yet, but it looks like they finally will. Now they're going to go on to the Viper. Impale could hit too, but Benjaz was raged. He goes on to Angel. Angel will go down. Keep in mind, Enchantress's heal was still doing some work there. But Union Gaming, again, in the top lane, seem to be winning the engagement, and I don't think there's any turnaround here from top 5.
No, that was just too lucky of rune placement for Citadel. Completely getting the jump on. And, you know, you can't really discount the hook as a big part of that fight either. So when the hooks hit, then things happen. And I guess that's going to be a trend we'll be seeing as the game goes on. Typically, we see that in games.
Usually how Clockwork works, unless you start to fall behind, and then when you hook in, Clockwork just dies.
Top tower has fallen.
Well, typically a good Clockwork would sacrifice anyway. But yeah, you don't want to see your Clockwork die after a completed hook onto a really high priority target. But actually the Courier might fall. No, the Familiar is just barely not getting that one. And OD could look to take them out. He might get this one with the help of the tower. It looks like the tower will be enough to take it out. Yes, it is. There's one Familiar gone.
Yeah, but it doesn't hand over the 100 gold, so it's not terrible for Union Gaming, although there isn't another summon for 120 seconds. That is 2 minutes, but here comes Gosu Ray. He's going to get a 3-man, could have been 4-man Burrow Strike. The invest damage comes out. Shanks goes down without getting off the heal. Now Benjaz rages up. Going to start to get kited, though. Epicenter off by Gosu Ray King. Stolen by Teacher D, and then immediately rechanneled. I don't know. Gosu Ray King MVP right now with these Burrow Strikes. Good cogs and hook in by Angel as well. It's a double kill for Xanders on the Visage as they go over to the Viper under the tower. Sanity's Eclipse dropped. Doesn't kill anybody, and Fly will actually go down here. Wrong now going to be stunned once more. So I think if we have the hero counter, that's 7 heroes Burrow Strike right there in that team fight.
3-2-1 getting a great impale off on the back lines to keep the aggression off of him. Dodges out the flare there. They're looking to try to kill Angel. They will get him here. Another impale to Fly. So they do at least get a little bit of a trade from that fight, but certainly not what they wanted. And it looked like going into that top 5 were in a better position to gank, but they ended up getting the jump on them by the Sand King's brilliant plays. Not able to finish off the Visage. It looks like Citadel looking to re-engage. The Gosu Ray King is back in as well.
Yeah, nicely done. Gonna throw out that buffed up Darude Sandstorm there and just retreat. And that fight that went down in the jungle, Citadel was there to start it off, and then I think it just went back middle to push, and if he was there, they might have just been able to kill everybody, but regardless, it's still a nice fight for Union Gaming. Citadel gets the tower in the mid lane, and that's going to allow that extra tower gold, as well as, well, Visage being 5-0 and 5, allows him to pick up a mechanism here at just 15 minutes. Looking at Viper, he's also got his, as we might expect, the Viper being run in, I guess, the solo safe lane this game.
Right. So, it's 15-9 at 15 minutes. Union Gaming has the lead. We take a look at the gold lead. It's going to be about 5,000 in Union Gaming's favor. In terms of XP, we're still a lot closer, about 1,500 in favor of Union Gaming. But I'm taking a look at some of the KDAs, and Visage is 5-0 right now. So this support, total MVP at the moment. And most of the plays we've seen coming out from Union Gaming have been some great initiations by the support. I mean, we talked about the Sand King's brilliant a couple of impales happening in the enemy top 5 jungle, as well as a couple of good hooks, a couple of bad hooks, but we don't talk about the bad ones. And Visage with the amazing damage from his soul assumption. It looks like they don't even care about the move speed deficit or the change to the Grave Chill. It's all just the same Visage. It's still the same Visage that people
I don't think
use.
the Grave Chill was that big of a deal. It just adds 30 more mana. You usually only had enough mana for 1 Grave Chill and maybe 2 Soul Assumptions anyways, so it's not a huge deal. I'm surprised he spent 2 points in Grave Chill instead of getting some points up in Gravekeeper's Cloak. But as we say that, the bottom tier 2 tower in a bit of danger, as we got another Dragon Knight here pushing it. He's level 10, so as soon as Citadel hits 11, let's see if there's any stacks waiting for him. There aren't, but he's going to get a lot more powerful with that cleave. Angelo finds out the Nyx assassin. Nyx not going to take too much damage there because of a well-timed spike. Carapace, the fight breaks out on the other side, though. Benjaz trying to fight somebody. Everybody grouped up on top of each other. Dragon Knight with the Breathe Fire takes them all out. Benjaz on the chase. Open wounds in another 1 second. Teacher D should go down. The Burrow Strike slightly off the mark. The Astral will buy some time. And Festing to get up that HP as well. Cogs to push like Angel should have done that one time up top, but we can't really fault him for that. He's played amazing. He's 5-5 and 10. He's been involved in 15 of the 18 kills.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's exactly what a Clockwork needs to be doing. Controlling the pace of the game, making sure it stays in your ballpark and doesn't get out of hand, doesn't let the enemy step 1 foot out of your own schedule, or you hook them.
Yeah.
So some great play coming out from him, and all his team seems to be on the same page for the most part. So really great teamwork, and this is the execution we were talking about that Union Gaming seemed to have when it comes to these aggressive lineups. And it looks like top 5, despite their strong performance in the lower bracket, are catching themselves on a bad foot here. And it's up to them. It's in their playing field, though, to pull this game back. It isn't incredibly out of their hands, but 7,500 gold deficit at 18 minutes is certainly not something you want to get yourself into.
Yeah, this just goes to show, I mean, top 5 is a team that's getting a lot of recognition right now, playing in the JDL versus, Sad Boys, Team Liquid, E-Hug, Denial, what have you. And most of those teams are in main. Actually, a team fight, as they're going to interrupt my point here. Visage played a great game, but it looks like he's going to give up his first death. So Visage goes down. It's the Nyx assassin that picks it up.
Should have picked up that Gravekeeper's Cloak, man.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
that's
actually
not
has it. He has it. Still died. Either way, it looks like they're going to chase out, and 3-2-1 will get open wounds up. He still will be able to run. Yes, he will be able to run. That 4-staff from Fly paying for itself. So they get a kill off, they get a pick off, and they're able to get away.
That just shows you how scared top 5 is right now. They had 5 heroes there, and they ran away from 2. I mean, sure, Union Gaming, they weren't too far away. They were running there. But top 5, they just want to get a pick off and then get out. They're feeling pretty scared, I think.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin, you got a good 600 gold, 647 gold from that kill on the Visage because the Visage was 5-0. He finds himself a Staff of Wizardry. I don't know how long he's had that, probably for a fairly long time, but he's got 800 gold on top of that now. Do you think he's going for a Dagon?
I mean, it's hard to tell with the Staff of Wizardry. The 4-staff is great on Nyx Assassin. The Dagon is great on Nyx Assassin, as well as the Necronomicon. My bet would be on the Force Staff. The Necro's pretty expensive, and it's really not that great until it's level 3 anyways. And then Dagon, I think, versus a Raged Lifestealer isn't going to be that great. But here we go, Angel initiating in here with the Lifestealer. So that Infest Bomb doesn't do a whole lot there. Angel gets picked off immediately, and Benjaz may be next. Infest is, of course, on cooldown. Visage shows up, but Gosu Ray with his newly bought Blink Dagger gets off a decent Epicenter. They're able to take out Fly. Gosu will go down to Shanks with the pure damage with the heal. Rubik has actually stolen the ultimate Epicenter. Doesn't take anyone down with it, but deals a lot of damage. Benjaz will drop, and it's top 5. They defend it. They lose their 2 cores, but they take out 3, and it's about to be 4 here. Citadel will probably go down here. Will definitely go down here.
You can't run away from Impetus. And
Tower drops,
that was a really good fight coming out from top 5. They knew who their targets were, and they executed it one-on-one. I mean, they let the Lifestealer kind of run around. They kited him around for a little bit. Were able to pick off the Clockwork. Granted, he did have the Blade Mail, which made it a little bit more difficult, but they got the ultimates off that they needed to get off. They even stole the Epicenter off and got that one to go. It was a really good team fight, and it really goes to show how far ahead Union Gaming were when they're able to lose and still pick off a ton of heroes in the process. So, you know, Union Gaming, this could be a sign to them that they need to be a little bit more careful, because they did lose a lot in that fight, but at the same time, they are still very strong in this game, and top 5 need to continue with some perfect execution to at least break even in these team fights.
Yeah, and Gosu Ray King here on the Sand King. He's played a phenomenal game despite being, you know, only 0 kills, but 0, 3, and 14 right now. That's very good. He's got as many assists as top 5 does kills. He's got the Blink Dagger, and in one more level, actually just about, was that 31 XP, he'll be level 11 with rank 2 Epicenter. Citadel's already there, so he's got the Red Dragon form with the poison, with the cleave.
Boom,
Angel could use a couple
and
more
the double
levels to
damage.
get hook shot up to level 2, which would help him out immensely. Same thing with, you know, the next level of familiars, as Benjaz is level 14, should be the highest in the game by a large margin. Yeah, the Lifestealer here, level 14. Fly on the OD, just level 12.
Tower is under attack.
So yeah, Benjaz picked up his Basher, and they're going to go into a team fight. No, Angel's just going to get blown up. I wasn't even watching that. What happened?
He just got cut out. Nyx Assassin with the Vendetta shows up, stuns him, and pretty much everyone was there. Shanks as well as the Rubik nearby to throw out the damage.
A pretty good pickoff coming out on the top 5's part, but they see some items starting to come out. I mean, they have 2 Urn of Shadows, which I don't know if that's intentional or not, but Fly, he looks to start building, it might be a BKB on his part. He's got the Ogre Club out. But for the moment, I'm not seeing too much item progression coming out from top 5.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the BKBs. I mean, top 5's got 3 great heroes that can do a lot of damage, you know, throughout the game. But none of them are really BKB holders. Viper, you know, he can get a BKB. He's got games with BKB on record. Same thing with OD, but when OD goes for the BKB as his first item, it's going to limit his damage potential coming from the Arcane Orb. Enchantress rarely gets BKB, I feel like. And that'll hook him by Angel here. Force Staff almost gets him away, but maybe that 0.1 second travel distance got Fly caught out here.
Well, he was still stunned up, nevertheless. He forced that right as he got launched into the air, which showed us that nice little volleyball kind of thing going on there. But Familiars actually go down when scouting out Roshan. No, that was, sorry, the Satyr Tormentor. But they get a return pickoff, and it's on the Audible Devourer. I mean, pickoffs on cores are not something you want. Even with that, it's going to be a backup, a smoke, and then a re-engagement. They're pulling the old double back maneuver, and it's going to be 3-2-1. That is going to see the, he knows what's going on. There's no getting away. The Force Staff actually does get him back.
Wow, double Force Staff there from Wrong. One from Fly, one from Wrong himself. It's not going to be enough, though. Now, fight, in a bit of trouble. Good, yeah, not going to be enough. The Cogs go out. That's going to catch up OD. Drops immediately. Now Rubik stuck in there with him. Everyone on UG getting pretty low here as Shanks runs in from the backside, but he has to travel through everybody. That Impetus isn't going to do damage. And they're going to get caught in another 2-man burrow strike here from the Sand King. Gosu Ray King, I got to say, I think he's been the MVP of this game with these burrow strikes. On point.
By far.
Dire's middle
and
tower
27 to 15 at 24 minutes. This is a full team wipe erupting or evolving into a possible Roshan attempt. I don't see many ways that top 5 can come back from this. I mean, they've showed some great strength in some team fights, but that one just looked like a complete collapse of everything as they got caught off almost completely off guard, and there's just too much burst damage coming out from Union Gaming at the moment that they can't really deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, they wasted both of their force staffs trying to save one target, who then went down, and then they tried to engage from a couple different angles, and top 5 wasn't really together. I think they're going to stand a lot better chance if they start a team fight while getting a pickoff, or a pickoff into a team fight, or if they're just poised, ready to defend on their high ground with maybe Nyx Assassin lurking from behind. Nope. Shank says GG.
I don't quite agree with that. I mean, they still had ultimates to use, and we saw in that last team fight they never used, or they didn't use any of their ultimates. But they're instead going to call it, and is this a rage?
No, I just think it's, it's amateur / semi-pro Dota. We've all got time schedules. It's pretty late, and this could be a potential best of 5, top 5. I think they obviously want to come back, and that can mean another 3 games after seeing the first game here. So that's going to be Union Gaming actually with 2 victories, coming in with that 1 game advantage because they advanced into the finals from the upper bracket.